Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shite Episode 5, Series 2, Jarrett versus Raven. Hello, it's me once again, Andy Ogden, and joining us today, it's not Matty, but I borrowed on loan from GRAPPL, the one and only JP Houlihan. Hello, JP.
Hello, mate. When you say borrowing me on loan, it makes me sound like I'm trying to think like I'm Jadon Sancho. And I'm just like, just diving around between the places. There's no fee involved. There's no 5 million fee involved. And hopefully I won't prove to be as giant a waste of money as that bloke, mate. But I'm made up to be doing this because I've loved the shites you've done with Matty Edwards. That sounds really bad when I said it in a sentence. As it came out.
Does. Well, to be honest, JP, you're more sober than the last time we had you on Graps and Claps, as we got you absolutely paralytic in Oxford.
Mate, I honestly to God, I remembered nothing from how that ended. And that was also TNA. It was the first two, wasn't it? It was the first two plays. It was a fucking mess, mate. Like, I don't remember getting home. I think I lost my bank card. I'm not entirely sure. I think I might well have done that night. I was a fucking shambles. And it was sort of it was when lockdown was starting to come to an end, wasn't it?
So it was when Manchester was in ready to go in level 3 and we could still travel over to a level 2 or a level 1 town or city. So we fitted in Oxford before Manchester got booted out the week after.
And I hope it was a brilliant day. I have to say,
absolutely.
Yeah. But fucking hellfire. That was trying to go toe for toe with your Jeff and Chris Linnae. That I'm not built to sustain that level of fucking drinking. I think Linnae came back with some shots and it was like,
it was the whiskies, weren't it?
Yeah. I just went, this is going to go south incredibly fucking quickly. And go south it did.
It did. Fashion. So what we're talking about today is TNA episode 43, to be exact, from the 30th of April 2003 in Nashville, Tennessee. But before we get into the wrestling, let's get into the music of the time and the UK number one. Any thoughts what might have been number one back in this time?
Oh, it wouldn't have been good. See, we haven't covered 2003 on time. I'm just trying to think what would have been. Jesus Christ, I mean, I don't know. I mean, All Saints, something along those lines. Sugar Babes.
Well, it was a theme to the Lynx ad. It was "Make Love" by Room 5. Make love and listen to music. That was the dance move as well, which was like the gun pointing.
It is. It's a remix, isn't it? Of it's a because I don't know if you've ever seen the film. Is it Ex Machina by Alex Garland?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
There's a dance sequence, that original one, like Oliver someone. I can't think of what his name is. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, that was a decent. I'm all right with that as a number one for the time.
Yeah, I remember throwing shapes in Maxwell's in Bury, which was the rough nightclub you'd go to after Chicago Rock. Bit of Junior Senior were on at the time then.
Oh my God, Junior Senior! I can't fucking Oliver Cheatham, by the way, is the name of
Oliver Cheatham.
The guy did it originally. But yeah, Junior Senior, Jesus Christ, I haven't even got any recollection of that.
Yeah, and it was the one with Blue Cantrell and Sean Paul. Breathe.
Oh,
that was the one at the time. UK number one album of the time was The White Stripes Elephant.
Ah, okay.
Was so the
Seven Nation Army?
Yeah, so the two songs from that were the Seven Nation Army and Hardest Button to Button. Boom, 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 ba-da-da-dum.
See, that's all right. The problem is the Seven Nation Army, I think, got ruined by European football fans.
And Michael Van Gerwen.
Who I should have worn the shirt, the hooky shirt I bought from Turkey for this one today, sadly. I feel ashamed of myself for that. But yeah, I can't listen to it after. I mean, I think at the time I loved the album. So I liked the White Stripes.
Yeah. But 22 years ago, ridiculous.
Don't fucking say it. I was in yesterday. I had no kids then. That wouldn't last for much longer.
No. So away from the music, let's get into the supposedly at the time, the biggest match in TNA Asylum history from the Tennessee State Fairgrounds. But JP, when was your first recollection of watching this match? Would it have been on the actual week of it happening?
No, it wouldn't have been because we weren't able to get the pay-per-views. So, and BitTorrent was still pretty much in its early infancy. So you would have got around to being able to, it would have been a few weeks after. I've got a funny feeling that I bought this show like on videotape when I went to Frontiers of Honor.
Ah, yeah.
There was a guy there who was selling all the
strong style tapes. Yeah.
And then they got kicked out and all sorts. And I think I bought this off him there because it was like, and I bought a few TNA ones. I just wanted them on video to be able to watch it. No DVDs. That's not how they rolled. So I would have seen it. I mean, obviously, I was aware of the result like the day afterwards. It was like one of the first things I went online and I sort of checked it out. I was like, for fuck's sakes. And then saw some of the stuff they did. Like I would have been able to see the match itself online. Probably would have been a couple of weeks afterwards. And it was always the rubbish being thrown in at the very end. And Jerry Borash doing the ring announcing and sprinting around to the heel section, as they were known as. Yeah, it was ingrained in my memory, mate.
Yeah, I think my first memory of it maybe was on the wrestling channel when they'd show the repeats on like a Friday afternoon, but I might have also got it on copied DVD from Mike's Wrestling Shop in Manchester, in Extreme Central UK.
Oh, I wish I'd been able to go there. Was the wrestling? So how soon was it on the wrestling channel after it had gone on the pay-per-view? Was there a fair delay?
No, it was probably about a couple of weeks, I would say. There was pretty like a decent turnaround on the wrestling channel, but the turnaround what they had in the wrestling shop. So I think this pay-per-view might have been on the Wednesday or the Sunday. So you get it literally the week after. So I'd go in with me my money. It was physical cash then for me NVQ training. So like 50 quid. 25 would go to me dad for board, and the other 25 would generally be spent in Mike's Wrestling Shop.
He wasn't willing to give you, your dad wasn't willing to give you that extra 25 quid of your EMA to go towards fucking, go on, treat yourself down Mike's.
Was he fuck, mate? He would
have come back and gone, what's this shit? Probably.
Yeah. But then again, my dad got into, latter day PWG when Zack Sabre Jr. was the champion, so...
It reminded him of World of Sport, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the British flag trunks and what have you.
My old fella liked World of Sport just simply because of Fit Finlay, because he was like, "There's an Irishman here." He's like, "All right, I can get on board with this," and all the Brits seem to be booing him. I'm down with that. Like he could get on board with that. So I can understand how your dad would. I mean, I don't know what you'd have made of like Bowler or something like that. That might have been a stretch too far.
Too much for me. This free shows, bloody 10 hours.
Why are those lads going in slow motion? What the fuck is this about?
Why has Jushin Liger got her thumb up someone's ass? Oh, Christ. So with this show, Mike Tenay and Don West in... did you ever rock a shirt like that, JP, in the clubs of London?
I might have done once. I think I had a shiny purple shirt. Like it was too shiny. I might have worn it once or twice. And I wouldn't have tucked it in like Don did. I certainly wouldn't have worn a tie with it, not out and about. But I always admired his commitment to the bit, though, for Don. Like, he look, as a wrestling announcer, it's what you wanted. And my God, I'm just nostalgic for the man these days. It's quite understated by Don West standards, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he did look like a giant turkey ready to be basted and cooked in the oven in this shirt. Baker foil.
Oh, mate, he's sweating like a fucking national winner during this as well, isn't he? Like it's fucking dripping off him, and it's probably doesn't help. It's a fucking sold out place, and I mean I've got like on the video screen behind me what the Nashville Fairgrounds looks like. It's been knocked down these days in there, and you think if you're fitting 1,400 people or so, like it'd be like that time that Gareth went to the Elcor Centre or something in New York.
Oh, that's where Bixen's band shot his patents, allegedly, weren't it? Yeah.
He said it was hotter than the fucking sun, and he was wearing leather trousers, like sweating away.
Oh God, you can imagine the sweating.
Oh, it'd be some stinky beasts as well. And there's a few lads they've been on the ale as well, haven't they? Like all fucking afternoon.
Well, one thing I will say with the team of Don West and Mike TNA, and comparing it to at time of recording, All Out with Brian Danielson on commentary, the enthusiasm for the wrestling.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was always a couple of things they had in there. Like that was always the thing that Don West had was enthusiasm. TNA was there to be able to do all the moves and everything else. I just always liked the dynamic that it wasn't just like a heel and a face commentator. Just the idea of having two fellas who got on, like that was always like a nicer dynamic to be able to have. It makes it easier as a watcher as well. But yeah, they like you say, it's just that enthusiasm. When you got someone who's like kind of really into it, he wasn't at the point of this as well of getting up, singing, chanting "Go Red Go," was he? Or was that wasn't long after? I don't.
Not long after, but yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, remember when he turned heel as well, Don West.
That was it was. I think what's sad about it is his heel turn. The way he delivers is actually quite good. It's just that man. You should never turn him heel. Like that's as simple as that. It just leave him as he is. And in some ways, I always thought that TNA, it's like the temptation was when you sign like Taz, you've got to put him on commentary. And it's just like, yeah, but do you want to get rid of Don West? Because he's kind of like, it's like in many ways, he was like the beating heart of TNA, he sort of represented everything that TNA was, which was just like massively enthusiastic, not particularly great at some of the stuff on it. But my God, you never fault the lad for effort. And it's just like you kind of always needed him there. So like hearing his voice during this, it's just like he worked fucking hard. And you'll always admire the fact he put a proper shift in when he was on commentary.
Yeah, the definition of comfy pair of slippers.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, the comfiest pair of slippers. Comfiest, curliest pair of slippers as well in his case.
So as you mentioned, JP, it was a turn away audience here of I think they said just over 1,300 in the asylum, which it's a big crowd in it for the time of a smaller promotion. Well, smaller than WWE promotion.
Yeah, if you go through like the sort of TNA, they do the first ones in Huntsville, Alabama.
It is,
and a lot of that is it's papered. There's about 2,000. They're sat on one side of the arena. They have
that's where they were very racist, weren't they, in Alabama? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're not shy when it comes to expressing their backward views on race and probably marriage and all manner of sort of social issues. You'd be amazed if it was if Alabama's gone woke, then something's gone like mad with the world. But like it was, and then when they moved to the fairgrounds, which is always like kind of out of necessity because they were hemorrhaging so much money and everything else, like they wouldn't always sell these out. Like they might do around 1,000 because it was just live wrestling on there as well, let alone to get to the point that they would turn away 1,000 people, which they're saying on commentary, which by all accounts, anecdotally, is very, very true, which was just testament to how much less of the build to the match and more that disgruntled people not wanting to see WWE, wanting something else, and finally going, oh, we're gonna have something different with a guy who's not utilized in WWE, and so we're going to be able to get him, and he's going to be champion because they just thought, well, Booking 101 says, strap him up, and they were excited by it because it just represented something different. Little did they know.
Well, yeah. Jeff Jarrett would have a word to say about that, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, he would do. And I listened to a bit of how he justified his decision on My World. Let's just say it's bollocks. I love Jeff to bits nowadays, but at this point in time, I didn't love Jeff. I
No.
wasn't. No one was a Jeff fan apart from Jeff.
Yeah, there's definitely this moment, and also what I think one bit later on in time, it's the Monty Brown match in it.
The Monty Brown match is like, for a lot of people, it was like that was like the cutoff point. It was like, nah, I'm done with, like, because that one's much more egregious because that's their guy. And they'd managed to build him, and he had all of the tools you'd want. And it was just like, if anyone went about work rate, it's like, well, have you watched TNA? Like, work rate doesn't appear to be a thing that they're remotely interested in. But he had charisma, he could do the promo, and he was massively over with the crowd. And he had that real sports aspect to him. It was just like, it was a complete no-brainer. Whereas Raven had always, to me, felt like he'd been. It was the thing of like in EC, he was still a kind of compelling character. It's just in WWE when he went over there, he just wasn't being used.
Yeah, and I think Vince wanted to keep him away from Shane McMahon.
Yeah, basically, yeah. In there, although that you've got the idea of Shane McMahon in Raven's flock or gathering in this, or Team Extreme, depending on your point of view. There's a lot of stables he has knocking around at this point. Is he a part of like 3 different factions in this match?
I think he is. He's got a lot of people like behind him, hasn't he?
Gathering, Sports Entertainment Extreme, and Team Extreme.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Russo, innit?
That's what it all comes down to, mate. Good old Vince.
Shall we get into match number 1 anyway? Well, there's a lot of tag teams here, as it's like a 4-way match. It's Team Extreme with Just Incredible, old Ratface Knacker, and Perry Saturn versus America's Most Wanted of Chris Harris and James Storm, who are not coming out to the proper AMW theme of I find the defendant guilty. And versus the disciples of the new church of Brian Lee and Slash, with James Mitchell as the manager, and also representing Sports Entertainment Extreme, Sex. Nice one, Vince Russo. The Harris brothers of Ron and Don.
Or Heavy D, as they
Heavy
call Don,
yes.
don't they, during this as well. Terrible. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Good old America's Most Wanted. I mean, I was generally, that was always a team I could kind of at least get behind, because that was their team, and it made sense. And it was 2 guys who were fresh. Like Chris Harris and James Storm had not done anything on any kind of like important scale up to that point. So, yeah.
There was very much a reunion here of the Disciples of Apocalypse with Brian Lee and the old Harris brothers. Brian Lee, did you think, though, his face had multiple facelifts? He just didn't look real.
No, he doesn't, does he? And he's lost a lot of timber in this match as well. He's not anywhere near. I mean, he's nowhere near sort of like fake Undertaker. He's a strange guy in that he doesn't look real. But then, if he lived next door to me, I wouldn't recognize him at all, and I would have seen him wrestle loads of times. Just a completely nondescript bloke, wasn't he? I mean, he's just one of those fellows who knocked around. He was big, and I'm sure he was cracking at dominoes. Like, that appeared to be part of the thing that he would have been part of his selling point to his backstage mates.
Yeah, the other tag team, Team Extreme, which was Just Incredible and Perry Saturn, coming out to a version of like P Diddy's "Come With Me," the Godzilla theme.
Yeah, it's the Led Zeppelin riff, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the da 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 da, and then it goes into this kind of like shitter version of that as well. Who used to do all the music? Was it Dale?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, Dale somebody who did the music for TNA, and he basically went down the Jimmy Hart route of, that sounds like a popular song, I'm just going to do a shitty rip-off version of that. It sounds good for that first bit, and then it goes into the other stuff, and you're like, yeah. There's no Jimmy Page or involved in the production of this. This is gets a bit ropey. But it's good to see this is Perry going missing, having his face tattooed like Mike Tyson, like an extreme version of
he
The Hangover, isn't it?
Yeah, he started getting his head tattooed, I noticed on this one. Just incredible. He looked like shit, didn't he?
Awful.
Awful.
Like he's so skinny. He's wearing one of those, and this is very sort of its time, even if anything, it'd be like mid-90s, of wearing long white sleeve t-shirts that he'd wear underneath a check shirt and stuff.
Grandad vests, aren't they? Yeah.
Proper
and some
grandad vest.
7/8 pants. They weren't 3/4 pants, they were 7/8, weren't they?
And your description of rat-faced fucker, like he really did. It's awful. It's like it's a definition of bum fluff on his face. It's shocking.
How old do you think he is at this time?
Oh Christ! I'd say he's young. I mean, if he was in as Aldo Montoya, he was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 28.
Close enough there, JP. 29.
Oh.
So less than 30. This lad.
Yeah. Former world champion as well.
Yeah.
Really
he was like the hot thing in back end of ECW, weren't he? And then he obviously had you're dealing with the X Factor, which was maybe the height of his latter run. But yeah, what he looked washed.
Yeah, completely gone. And he still knocks around, doesn't he? He still turns up at stuff these days. But and when he did have that run in ECW, while I kind of like, it was a strange entourage of people that he'd always have around with him. But it was like, it was more or less a recognition of, we've got no one else.
Yeah.
We just don't have anyone else to go with. And we've kind of put some effort into building Just Incredible for the last sort of few years in ECW and then putting the title on him. But then beyond that, he was just fucking gone. Imagine being that washed up at fucking 28. Christ.
Raheem Sterling.
Yeah. But without the money.
Without the money, yeah. But it does make you think as well. Just imagine if he was a better bag carrier in the Click than Triple H. Oh. Just Incredible could have been writing WWE TV nowadays and being married to Steph.
In an alternate universe, I'd weirdly take that. Like, I think if offered, like at this stage, would I take it over fucking Shagger? Like, yeah. In that case, that's a very much the Matty Edwards term for him as well, because that's how he got his success, and I will not hear otherwise. There was a point I liked him, don't get me wrong, and then he went full blown Shagger and exploited his marriage. Shocking behaviour.
The last question before we actually get into the match is apart from Bryan Danielson, who's your favourite Brian in wrestling? Is it Brian Clark, Brian Adams, Brian Lee, Gewirtz, or Alvarez?
Or Brian Keith.
Or Brian Keith.
Or Brian Keith. I'll say it isn't Brian Keith. He's not. There was just a point in time when he was on telly every week, and I was sick of the fucking sight of him. I would say favourite of those, Brian Alvarez. I met him a few times, and I've been able to have a nice chat with him. It's like a bit of a novelty. I'm controversial one. I'm going to go Brian Clark. I quite liked Adam Bomb as a kid.
Bit of rat.
He always had a bit of a look, and then off he's gone. He's just fucked off for time immemorial. I don't know what he's up to like these days. I'm sure I like to think the fact we haven't no news is good news when it comes to him. Like, he's not fucking robbing banks or something.
I'm sure he's sitting on a bed of cash somewhere thinking he's, I don't know, chronic days.
Exactly. Probably on the chronic as well.
Probably on the chronic. Yeah. But what's it, Brian Adams?
I was never a Brian Adams man, neither the singer nor the wrestler. I would suggest I'll never forgive him for that fucking Everything I Do song being number 1 for 16 weeks. In the same way that I'll never forgive him for like Hawaiian Crush, really. Like it was generally terrible. Chronic is a high point simply because at least they look the part. At least they just looked like a couple of big blokes put together. And I'll always have time for a Hoss tag team because of like in the Skyscrapers and
Yeah.
LOD back in the day, and even Doc and Gordy and stuff like that. Just got two big lads, don't really know what to do with them, just put them together and have them just beat the shit out of some smaller blokes. And generally you're on to a bit of a winner. But yeah, never. I'll be more Clark than Adams.
Good stuff. Anyway, this matchup, just a lot of bodies I felt, but the crowd throughout this show are just wild for everything.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? I mean, this is like as far as a match goes, a lot of it feels like it's Chris Harris doing selling for the majority of this, as the various other people come into the ring, predominantly, whether it be Brian Lee or Disciples of the New Church or the Harris brothers come in, beat him down for a bit, do a lot, sort of like a variety of various moves in there. But it's a very like it's like the stuff happening. But you're right, like the crowd are pumped, like they're absolutely, but they're like, and for this they're not expecting necessarily a lot. They just want to see some moves with a Z, or like big man moves with a Z.
Yeah, they just want to see a Harris Boys H-bomb, don't they?
Yeah, that time. That's all they want to see. They're fine to have this stuff. And like, I mean, obviously they do the smarter thing as well, as like at least having America's Most Wanted involved at various points, like when Storm gets the hot tag. It's just a fucking finish, really, isn't it? It's just like that's the thing that sort of like just didn't sit well, which is going to be a common theme for this one in there. Like it's completely inoffensive for what it is, of like an 8-minute TV match, but it's just that ending, which is it's really soft and weak, isn't it?
Yeah, but I suppose they were pushing like the Team Extreme, whatever they're called, Team
Extreme
ECW,
Revolution.
Extreme Revolution. Yeah, the obviously Saturn won with the DVD to Storm, so I can see the point of it, but it's 2 stars at best, in it.
Yeah, it's 2 stars at best. It's the way they do it, because I think Storm's going for like a belly to belly, and then is it Don or Ron, which is really could easily be either one of them. Chris Harris into James Storm, and then he hit, and then Saturn's able to set him up for the DVD. And then one of the other Harris brothers just watches it. Now, remembering that it's the first fall that wins, so you'd imagine you're always going to interfere. He just sort of watches it and goes like, "Oh, I guess they've gone over then." It's like, you feel free to break it up, mate. I mean, it's kind of like your job.
They sort of got a living just wherever Jeff Jarrett went. It's surprised he never ended up in AEW, isn't it? It's like a backstage thing.
I think one of them having, what was it, like SS tattoos, probably put the fucking like kibosh on that one as well. That's going to be it's like he wasn't forced to have the tattoo on him. Like, he's done that of his own volition, so he can't really have a pop at it if people get a bit funny about it. But yeah, they were, as far as like tag matches go, 2 stars. There's some big lads here. It's very messy, loads of stuff going on. But for 8 minutes, it doesn't like overstay its welcome, at least.
Yeah. So next up, you have Goldilocks in the sex locker room with Disco. The Harris boys, who I thought, fucking hell, they've soon got to the back, haven't they? And still got the T-shirts. Continuity here, come on.
I think they do. They might have mentioned it very much as an aside, like a pre-tape interview. Like, I think they may. But again, this show moves at such a pace. Like, the minute the 3 is counted, they're like straight away plugging the next thing. And so, like, it was only on the second time round of watching this that I picked up on that bit. But like you say, yeah, one is in an Old Navy T-shirt and the other one's wearing a top that says sex in it as well, which you can add that to the long list of wrestling T-shirts that you just would not wear outdoors.
No, it'd be up there with the AJ Styles Come T-shirt?
Yeah. There's that one. I always think of Toothless Aggression.
Always pounding ass. that one.
Oh, I mean, like, it's just terrible. It's just like subtlety be damned. Yeah, not having any of that. Goldilocks, by the way, always terrible as an interviewer as well. Always, never just like doing what interviewers should do, which is you just ask the questions and then the wrestlers do the talking. She's always like kind of wanting to kind of like seem like she's smarter than them as well, even though
Yeah.
she hasn't got a fucking clue about wrestling at all.
She certainly like railroads quite a few of the talent. It's reminiscent of, you know, like back end of WCW, probably like Russo era when Mean Gene were just being snarky with Natural Born Thrillers and talking to them. Mike
Yeah.
Sanders is in the background here.
Oh, and he appears later on, doesn't he, when they ask his opinions for who's gonna win the world title match. Yeah, with Gene, it always felt like there was a point when his question would be, "You've done this pretty heinous thing. Why have you done it?" And look a bit cross, and then just hand the mic over effectively, rather than give an opinion. Whereas Goldilocks is just like, "No, this is me giving an opinion," and she her snark has no kind of like charisma to it at all. You're just thinking, "Oh fucking hell," she just sounds a bit like, she just sounds very bitchy, basically, and unpleasant.
So match number 2. This is straight from Broxbourne Civic Hall. This match, with the amount of times these two were in the FWA, it's Jerry Lynn versus the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Now, Jerry Lynn, in his backstage promo, says he doesn't want to be just known as TNA's doormat. Put yourself down, lad. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Show a bit of fucking spirit there as well. I mean, and he's better than that. Like, really. I mean, in many ways, they should have just been working him out of the X division and just straight into the world title scene, which in some ways they're setting up a thing with him in Wrong Killings, aren't they? As well, from like what happened the week before, which they show a bit of in there as well at the same time. But yeah, it's very weird, like that moment when he's when he like in term, but it's like trying to set up like almost, because you're thinking with Russo, it's like he'd have been angling for a Jerry Lynn heel turn, and you just think Jerry Lynn should have a reason to turn heel. That should just never be a thing that happens for Jerry Lynn.
No, he'd try and book him like he tried to book Kidman, wouldn't he? Like,
Yeah,
he's a great wrestler, but he's not much personality. But he can, you know, out wrestle all the top guys. Like, who would it have been? Jeff Jarrett or
yeah, he's got more personality than a lot more personality than Kidman. I mean, he was in WWE not long before, like the foundation of it, where there's like one of the shows where he would have been light heavyweight champion. Was he light heavyweight champion? I feel like he was.
he was. Yeah, it's probably,
and he's at the World in Times Square, isn't
yeah,
he?
that's the one. And he's having a bitch in a moan, and he said Judgment Day. That's the line I can always remember from him, from his time in WWE. He was always a staple of Sunday Night Heat on Channel 4.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's where whereas, and then when he turned up then in TNA, you sort of thought, well, that's much more of a natural fit. And I got the idea of initially you put him in the X division because he's there to help the younger guys. He's there to help your AJs and Reds and everyone else just get that bit over. He's had that national TV exposure. He's obviously a very good worker. So you could actually get some kind of like joy out of him here. It's just here that they're all about trying to show that he's got an edge, which he shows in this match at the very
end. Fallen Angel Christopher Daniels. Now, I've seen him quite a lot of times during my time watching the FWA back on tape. But I will say the theme tune's a banger, in it. The old Triple X tune.
Yeah. No, it's a very good tune for that as well. I mean, and they were the Triple X were like the one part of sports entertainment extreme that you could handle, because it's him, Loki, and Elix Skipper at that stage. Of which eventually it's just him and Elix Skipper, because Loki's gonna Loki.
Yeah, he's not putting any fucker up.
No,
he's old Brandon.
He's not. But I mean, and this is still very much the character he played in Ring of Honor. This is still very much like sort of classic Ring of Honor, Christopher Daniels, and he was like at this point in time he's still relatively fresh, and you still think they're going to be doing some like really like interesting things with him, which they never really get round to doing with Christopher Daniels in TNA, and they end up really sort of like missing the boat. Because I think it's like 09 at the point where he gets a feud with Jarrett, doesn't he? But it's just like, Jesus, you've taken 6 years to get to that stage.
The boat has sailed. To be honest, a lot of his good stuff is it's like tag division in it with Elite Skipper, and then I think he was a tag team. Didn't he do with AJ as well? Probably
he did. Yeah, he did. That was after the Unbreakable 3-way. I think they put them together. It's just like a sort of a super team. It was just he never got like they always had him pigeonholed because of size, and they never realised that it's just like the size doesn't matter. It's about effectively how charismatic. And at that stage in 03, as you would have seen so many times, and they make mention of the tours that he does of him wrestling in the UK a lot. That like this is a guy they always sort of miss the boat out on. But I mean, he's notable effectively as being part of the team with Elite Skipper, and even though he's not part of the big spot in the match with AMW in the 6 sides of steel.
Yeah,
he's still like that's how they're viewing him as a big tag team wrestler. But then their tag team division was a lot more fun at that stage.
This match, it's a solid like 7-minute TV match. A lot of good action, which you'd expect between these two. There's a funny spot where Jerry Lynn nails a spear as he shouts, "Come on, you son of a bitch!" Bang.
Yep.
That's a great one. Even though Matthew's not on here, I know he's not a big fan of Christopher Daniels. He fucking hates him, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. Doesn't like him at all, and particularly when he turns up in AEW and stuff like that. Which
him and Scorpio Sky in it.
Yeah. Which I didn't mind as part of SCU at the beginning of them, because it was just like, because even in Ring of Honor, they were like one of the slightly better, but I'd like sort of that latter day Ring of Honor. They were like at least one of the better, more consistent parts of Ring of Honor, which was just like kind of dying a death at that point in time. But you're right. Like as it's a 7-minute fun enough TV match. You know that these two, and you would have seen much better matches between them live. If you'd given them 15 minutes, they'd have put on something really good. It's just in 7 minutes, they're completely like hamstrung by not only the story, but the weird stipulation that they say at the beginning of this, where it's about them like they're going to have a match next week, and if Daniels wins, then Lynn and Red will have to face all 3 members of Triple X. But if Jerry Lynn wins the match, then they only face 1 member of Triple X as well, which you think would be the like, all right, then Daniels is going to win, but he doesn't.
No,
and again, like, so you go right, so your heel's going to be in the baby face position out of this, which is again another finish, which is Jerry Lynn with a low blow.
Yeah,
and a very nice roll up. Proper tight roll up he does on him. But at the same time, it's just like, why they put Jerry Lynn in this position?
3 stars, I give it.
Yeah. 3 stars. The work for the 7 minutes that they're going at it is good, as you'd expect from them. And particularly Jerry Lynn at this point in time, you can still really go, and Daniels is young enough as well. It's just a shame he didn't have more time.
Yeah, but I suppose, Russo's playbook, from booking is very short matches, just a bang, 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 so you don't take your eyes off the screen.
Except he seems to have forgotten this is pay-per-view and not television.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the wrestlers don't even recognise. So it's just like you've got the time to be able to do that. I don't understand why that's the case. It's like you if you want to do a longer match, you can do that. And there's enough backstage stuff on this show they could have gotten rid of to get a few extra minutes, but hey ho.
So next up we have, match number 3 is AJ Styles and D'Lo Brown versus David Young and Sonny Siaki. So David Young of Transatlantic Wrestling Challenge fame back in the day. which we reviewed on this network with Desire, not the U2 song, and Sonny Siaki, who was part of the Flying Elvises, and he's also a very good rock lookalike.
Which would explain the push, really, isn't it? Because that's what they've done here, is they've gone with that. There is a segment beforehand where Team Extreme and Sports Entertainment Extreme are having a row, and Gilberti's like heading it up, and he's been, he was talking about slapping Goldilocks in the first interview bit in this as well, but they're like, it's very odd because they're both arguing over custody of Raven, and effectively, while also forgetting that he's got his own stable in the Gathering as well into the mix. So it's just like what the fuck is this about?
Yeah, there's like a video package with the evolution of the Extreme Revolution, which is the Sandman, Perry Saturn, Credible, and New Jack. It's a way of life, as they say. But as you mentioned, the backstage promo with Saturn nose to nose with Disco and New Jack in the background saying, "Try convicted felon, bitch."
Yep, that's right. It's like, now, if you said to me we were going to have a New Jack Glenn Gilberti match and New Jack went into business for himself, I'd have been all over that shit all day.
Properly shanking him.
Oh, you could imagine that, couldn't you? He honestly, Vic Grimes would have made that look like he was the fucking Miz by comparison, the way he worked that match, like with him and Gilberti for it. But yeah, load of old bollocks. But then for some reason, David Young is part of Sports Entertainment Extreme.
It's the blandest man on earth, isn't he?
Master of the Spine Buster. He was always there. He was there for years, wasn't he? Yeah. He was there when they went to Orlando. And it's like, he does a good spine buster. It's not the best. I wouldn't say mastery level, at the very least. And Sonny Siaki would do these kind of exaggerated movements The Rock does, but really do nothing impactful at all. No, like he just does a move and he just tag out.
He looked good in a jumpsuit, though. I will say that. He's called the ace in the hole, the arsehole, literally.
Yeah. Is that deliberate on Russo's part? I can imagine it is, isn't it? Yep. You've got to think so. I'll be astonished if it wasn't.
So young AJ Styles there in his X Styles t-shirt. Very good, this t-shirt, I would say. I'd wear it.
I think it's fine if he's got the font right for the X Files, and you just think that's half the battle. It's like X Styles. It's like, yeah, that kind of works, and it's a young D'Lo at this point. Who the thought that came to mind with him was like, how much of his career has he spent in and around TNA compared to how much time he spent in WWF?
More treble a time, maybe. Yeah, aces and eights.
Yep. Aces and eights, and then he was like Booker, wasn't he? He did some commentary. Yeah. He did various other. He would always be like in and out, and then he'd turn up there. He had this run. I never minded him being there because I kind of thought there's a limit to the kind of blokes they would have been able to bring in. And D'Lo's a solid enough hand who knows how to work a crowd. And I have to say, there's a couple of the double team moves that him and AJ do that I do really like in this match.
But you won't put the two together, would you?
Nope.
As a tag team, but nope. I can see it sort of working. Well, it did in this match. But you did mention D'Lo Brown's probably still young here. How old do you think he is?
Oh, fucking hell. I'm assuming when it was Attitude Era, he would have been young. He would have been a young bloke. He would have been 23, 24. I'm going to say 31.
You're close. 2 years out is actually 29, the same age as Just Incredible.
Wow. And he looks... Hey, I know he's wearing a T-shirt. He was never about the muscles, D'Lo. That was never the vibe he was giving off there. 29, he's looking all right. Fair play to him.
This is when he was, I think he was treading the boards of All Japan around this time.
God, yes. Was that as part of that like big stable that involved like
Umaga and all that? Yeah,
and Bull Buchanan and whatnot.
Yeah,
and bloody well, he wasn't Tensai, but old Coach Bloom,
Bernard.
Right? Bernard. Giant Bernard. They'd say Bernard, and it's like, it's Bernard. My granddad was called Bernard. That's how you say it.
As well, he was doing the rounds of FWA at the time, which he was really charismatic on there. He'd light up like the main event. He got some personality out of Doug Williams, I'll say that, and that was hard at them times during them title defenses.
Yeah, the most personality I've seen out of Doug Williams is stuff outside of the ring. In particular, the one at Bowlers. Like, it's a particular special night, but not a story I can really repeat on air, and involves Matty as well. And when I went to see, he was sat with me and Joe when we went to watch the ITV World of Sport screening.
Yeah.
It was me, Joe, Doug Williams, and Patrick Lennon of the Daily Star and Wrestle Talk TV.
He was an odd one, weren't he? He was an odd one, weren't he? Patrick Lennon. I remember.
I met him a couple of times. Met him in the Dundee. Did you ever go to the Dundee Arms when it's more spit and sawdust before it got gentrified?
That was back in the day when the Salmon and Ball was the pub to go to, not the Dundee Arms. Yeah.
And it was like it was a boxing pub. You go to watch that wrestling and all that. They were like proper geezers who were in there. And I saw him in there as well. And I was weirdly kind of gotten all right with him. I was like, fuck me, it's your man from Wrestle Talk TV. And he's like, I do have a name. He's all right, Patrick, how are you? And but on that ITV one, it was because it was free ale, free bar. I hadn't eaten, turned up in London, got quite pissed, like doing these interviews, recorded a piece of audio that was quite positive about the whole thing. Audio got completely tainted from it. Alex Shane said we couldn't use the bit that we recorded an interview with him, Kel Surprise, and our credibility would have been utterly fucking destroyed if that audio had ever seen the light of day. So, honestly to God, it did get corrupted, and I think that's that's the God saying, lads, don't fucking release this. This is shit. But off on another tangent there about old Dougie Williams. He was there. Doug, you having a pint? Yeah, we'll do. It's like, well, I'm not paying. Like these lot fucking are. So let's go buck wild, fella.
Back to this matchup. Now, as you mentioned about D'Lo and AJ, some of the what was it? It was like a sky high neck breaker or one or two. That was class.
Yep, that was good. And then it's their finisher of age. What was it? They're like, D'Lo like sort of pushes like Sonny Siaki to go up onto the shoulders of AJ, who then turns it into a Styles Clash.
Yeah.
Which then he does the lowdown off the top from that. And it was like, that was good. It looked good. It looked like a proper move. This is all while David Young is tending to Desire, who's been knocked off the apron. And also during the match, she appears to have developed amnesia. She just appears to be cheering everyone on. And it's just like there's two lads there specifically that you're meant to be cheering on. But you sort of just let that slide, really, because
who was she? I'd never heard of her before. She must have worked like the Southern wrestling scene in America, but she could have been someone who were in one of them dancing cages for all I know, and they're just like, oh, do you fancy managing someone for a night?
I'm sure JP at this point in time, as young, free and single, would have been searching like fucking night and day to try and find out exactly who she was. I would have been praying that she was doing the dancing cages stuff.
Yeah. 3 stars out of 5, this one. It's another solid tag, similar length as the Lynn and Daniels match. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, one of the few matches on this that it does the job it's there to do. What's really odd is it's not like they're building up AJ and D'Lo Brown to be going for the tag titles.
No, it's more AJ with the title, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more. That's what it is. It's more like they're focused on the world title, and you just sort of think, I don't know, they would have been a perfectly good tag team, just a short run thing, just for a few months. They'd have been perfectly fine to have in there, and then eventually you'll break them up and do whatever you would do at that stage. But they were perfectly fine. But and this match was like, for what it is. I mean, because Sonny Siaki and David Young, David Young's a better wrestler than Siaki, but he's so bland, like you said. They're so limited that it says a lot about, in particular, AJ Styles, that even at this young age, like all of 22 years ago, is able to kind of get the most out of these guys. And he just looks on a different level to everyone talent-wise.
Yeah, 25-year-old he is at this stage.
Oh, bloody hellfire. We're talking about his retirement these days, aren't we?
Yeah, near enough 50.
Yeah, fucking hell. You're not the only one, mate. I tell you. It's all this and hell to look forward to at the end of it, in my case. Not in AJ's case, because he's a god botherer. So
yeah,
and if that hasn't worked out for him, then we're all fucked, aren't we?
We definitely are. He'll be struck down from above. Anyway, Sonny Siaki and David Young, what age would you put them at?
Oh, I mean, David Young looks like a man who was born old. But I'll probably say that David Young is 33, and I'll say Sonny Siaki is. I'll say he's younger, probably not that young. I'll say 28.
Sonny Siaki, 28. You in a speedboat there to no massive lakes in Oxford though.
Nope, none.
I've just got visions of all the bikes just riding into the lake now and drowning.
Oh, that's how people feel about them. There is a river, obviously, and if I could use said speedboat to knock off some of the rowers that are around there, because you can't even walk along the side.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah,
there's all fuckers doing their screaming from the side, and it's just like we're just telling them to row. It's like they don't need that, do they? Just surely the lad sat at the front of the boat, the cox, is telling them to row. You don't need a fella stood on the side seeing it as well. Never makes any sense to me, but I ignore that whole rowing scene. I enjoy the fact that when the boat race happens, because they all fuck off out of it for the day. It's a wonderful thing. It's like, oh god, bit of fucking peace.
Do they still do that thing? Where they all do fancy dress for a bloody day or something?
Mayday, yeah.
Mayday, yeah.
They all go on the piss in the morning. They all go on the beer like all night, and they're all pissed up. And then they jumped off the bridge into parts of the river, except it's incredibly shallow. So one fella broke both his legs, and then it's like, well, I think we might have to stop them from doing this as well. To which my whole thing was, can I get to work, please? Or is that just a non-starter today because of you pricks? And so when that fella broke his legs, I was actively cheering it on. I'd have said, go on, a lot of you fucking do it. I'll give you a hand as well while you're jumping off. Like, yeah, they still do it. I never got it. I never took part in it. But it was a weird thing. I'd see people who I'd see around, shit-faced, 7 a.m., their kids are in school. Their kids are in the same class as my sons at the time, in the pub with them, and I'm like thinking, my lad's getting ready to go to school now. What the fuck is he doing in the pub at 7 a.m.? But yeah, that's the weird Oxford stuff for you.
You said David Young, 33. He's actually 30-year-old here.
Fucking hell, that's a hard paper round he's got, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? David Young, 1 year older than Just Incredible. Who looks older? Oh, them fucking hell.
Just Incredible's on hard drugs as well. What's David Young's excuse? Like, fucking hell.
Too many spine busters. I think
it is, isn't it? Is that a euphemism for heroin? I'm not quite sure.
Could be. It could be like a fucking cocktail, like the one I had back in the day. What were it called? A dick kicker, which were like a straw, and what have you? 80% they used to sell in the Blind Tiger in Bury. You'd have a shot of that, and it would literally felt like you've been kicked in the dick because you won't feel your legs after it.
Yeah, that's mate. Like that's not far off the equivalent of when people have put like a pint of just white spirits all together and top it up with lemonade and go, there you go, that's your birthday present. And then you're wondering why you're fucking puking like on the tube with your dick out. And it's just like, that's what that kind of fucking drink will do to you, isn't it?
It is. Four-way elimination match now, as we have Chris Sabin versus Jason Cross versus Jimmy Rave versus Sharp boy. But before this, we have a sit down with Ron Killings and Conan with Mike TNA. This is serious R-Truth, nice eloquent voice till he started smoking and rapping.
Yep. Yeah, he did here as well. I mean, this is almost like we're not quite in 3 live crew.
It's 2 live crew, this, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Yeah, 2 live crew, just him and Conan as well. And he starts swearing a good bit, and then it gets into Conan, who just immediately turns the conversation on the race. Like, I just immediately, like, for no like real reasons necessarily, but that's just it's like, how comes there is one funny line in it where he says, why are there no black announcers in wrestling? And then today goes, well, there's Jonathan Coachman. He goes, I said black. And like, that was objectively funny from that as well. But then there's a whole lot of things where there's a lot of like trying to catch Mike TNA out as being like a massive racist as well. He's like, how would you feel if I turn up to date your daughter? And he's just like, Charlie, you're about fucking 45, mate. His daughter's probably 16. He'd have good reasons to say no to you as well for that. But it's like, it's a very, it never really, the problem is with these two, it's not like it was Conan as Ron Killings' manager, because there was always that. It will be something the Ron Killings character that they created in TNA at that point, up to when he won the title, was an interesting character. In that, I always thought they almost like had him like he was just this guy on the outside. He was just like this very, very serious, very angry, and you went, okay, there's something here that's never been sort of like used, like he's never been used in this way, but they never fucking did it. And then when they put him with Conan, it's like, does this go anywhere? Does Conan even wrestle much in TNA?
I didn't think he wrestled in most of his career because he was the shit.
Absolutely, and he never was any good. And I've watched that Perro Aguayo match from when Worlds Collide.
Crap, innit?
It's shit. It's absolute shit.
All he had was that roll through clothesline, and half of the time he fucked that up.
He was a look, wasn't he? He was a look, and he had the music, and he seemed to be a bit more sort of like credible. I mean, his best role was actually spotting talent in Mexico. That's always been the thing that he has actually been kind of good at.
And he never shuts up about it nowadays on AAA commentary. I spotted him.
Do you listen to his podcast? Because if you haven't, he'll fucking ask you out of the blue. No, big man, but I appreciate you being curious enough to wonder whether I've listened to your podcast.
So what's it? Someone tries to attack Lollipop, the dancer, and I was like, "Oh, is that Tracy Brooks?" And it were, I was like, one time on a stag do in Newcastle, I got into one of them cages and danced, and I wish Tracy Brooks had grabbed me out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Come on, love. Yeah. Dive straight. But was she not with the company at this, like, more or less since the beginning? She was always kind of like around the place. Who is this person? Was this like the first appearance of her in TNA?
It might have been, yeah. I always remember the backstage segments where she always sit on the back of Dusty Rhodes' truck.
That's right. Yep. She would on the hay. Who else would sit with her as well? There'd be someone
else. Goldilocks, weren't it?
Probably was Goldilocks. Yeah. Yeah, she was always like a funny one. She was more like a mascot for a long time, Tracy Brooks. But yeah, and she's doing all of this while dressed up in a schoolgirl. By the way, yeah, this is the era of TNA that we're at. It's the cages and the dancing girls. And I was like, do they dance during the matches? It's like just a permanent like maneuver, because it's a bit like Tales of the Unexpected, isn't it? The way that they're sort of stood there like that, isn't it? Just sort of like dancing in that one very enclosed space, like fucking prisoners in Jabba's palace or something.
but this Jabba's palace is like when you return from a pre-tape promo, is a fucking sight of someone's muff, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, Exactly.
They're literally just, they're not missing anything, this camera team. It's, you know, like when Velvet Sky were around, you know, Let the Pigeons Loose. It's, you know, proper like that.
Oh, it is, isn't it? It's like that the match with, who's it, Charmel versus the worst match in TNA.
Jenna Maraska.
Jenna Maraska. And there's that famous phrase from Vinny of Brian and Vinny Face. It's like, they're not just filming her arse, they're filming her arsehole. Like, that's how close that they're getting in on this. Like, this is gynecological, if that is the right word.
Gynecology.
Gynecology, yes. Whatever that is, yeah.
Yes. It's the examination of arseholes. Anyway, talking of 4 arseholes, we've got this fatal 4-way elimination match. Yeah, jobber entrance for all 4 of them. They just got generic TNA house music. Very quick, this one.
It is. And it's very hard to get into. This is like, if you think, you mentioned earlier, like classic Russo booking matches. How do they work? It's this. It's a million, like, it's just stuff happening at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And then somebody will be eliminated basically after about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
In there as well. And the thing that I took, like, kind of from this as well, I mean, this is Sabin, who they're saying is like 2 years in the business, and you think of him now as this probably ye olde veteran, 23 years later, still around there looking good. But I remember, like, it took me a long time to warm to Chris Sabin, but they clearly thought, well, this is a newer, fresher guy. This is the guy we'll kind of go with. Shark Boy wasn't doing the Steve Austin stuff at this stage. It was like quite an unironic character. He just wore a shark mask.
Yeah, it's always someone you'd seen, like your PWIs in it, and you know, the 500 list. Like, who the fuck's that? And they suddenly turn up on TNA.
Exactly. Jason Cross would do some flashy moves in the times he was there, but he was never like winning, although they mentioned that he has an X Division title match in there as well. And Jimmy Rave, I mean, I feel I'm not the right man. It would be, you know, Benno is the Jimmy Rave of the Embassy and Ring of Honor. It's not this bloke. He's a bloke who wears a robe, and like he comes out. But this is throwing stuff 1,000,000 miles an hour. I think the one big notable spot is there's one that Jason Cross goes for.
It's the Sabin tries a running springboard dive, but totally whiffs. And you have Raven Shark Boy on the outside, just like, we'll just let him drop to his fucking death here.
Because he just goes over the top. It's just like he's meant to jump onto the top rope to then jump onto them, but he just misses the top rope and just lands just in front of them, which is horrible. And then there's one where Jason Cross at the top goes for a move off the top rope, and it's like a 630, and he lands right on his ass. And I just thought, my God, like, that must have fucking killed.
He'd be walking like fucking John Wayne, wouldn't he?
He'd be walking like Steptoe, mate, after that. Honestly, he'll be like proper bandy legs about him as well. He'd be all over the place.
I hate you, Sharp Boy.
Jimmy! Dirty old man, Jason. This is the thing as well. We've gone down a Steptoe and something. My God, we take some tangents today.
We do,
but as a match, again, it's 8 minutes long. It's just sort of moves with a Z. It's just it's impossible to kind of get really engaged by it. It's the right move, Sabin winning, given who he is, and it's just like him and Shark Boy at the end, because it's an elimination match for this as well. So it's different from the other 4-way we saw earlier on in the night, where it's just like first pin wins. Like, at least this one, they've got like they've got the elimination rules. It's 2.5 stars, because at least they're doing shit.
Yeah, I give it 2.5, funnily enough. So we're on the same page with it. Sometimes I don't mind moves as a match.
Nope.
It's interesting. One thing I can say about this show is it's energetic. There's no like lull in action, and I think that's the good side of Russo's, way of thinking with TV, even though a lot of it can be contrived as bollocks.
Oh, there is. I mean, sometimes this show moves. There's that bit where Jerry Lynn wins the match against Christopher Daniels. And like I say, it's the moment that the hand count 3, he's talking about the next bit. It moves at such a lightning because there's no ad breaks or anything else because they're on pay-per-view. So, like, it just moves at such a pace. And something like this, if you're doing filler matches in between and you're trying to keep a live crowd relatively hot, you've got to have just some young lads out there doing a load of flashy stuff, even if it's a load of jumbled up bollocks and doesn't really make any sense. You're like, yeah, okay, that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, didn't mind it. 2.5 stars. Imminently forgettable, though, straight afterwards.
Yeah. So next up was match number 5 for the TNA X Division title, which is the Amazing Red versus Kid Cash. But before we get into that, Goldilocks is in the back with Eric Watts and Dusty Rhodes. Fucking hell. Eric Watts, he never made it.
But there was a point in time that he was like commissioner of TNA.
Yeah.
And he was weirdly, it'd be this thing that because they're in the asylum, some people like that, in the same way that Lance Hoyt, before he became Lance Archer, but they had Hoytomania, they just took to certain people. You'd never understand why. And Eric
Bentley Bounce, weren't it?
Bentley Bounce, that's it. Yeah. No one gave a shit about Matt Bentley. Like, it didn't, like, at all. It's just like Shawn Michaels' cousin at the end. It's like, oh, okay. Was it his cousin or his nephew?
It was cousin, yeah.
And in this, it's just like Eric Watts in here. He's gone completely wacky, and you just don't know what I didn't have a fucking clue he was talking about. Apart from his vaguely racist bit where he talks about him time being in Japan and says like and Ruv, and it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. There is a point where they do later on a whole storyline where he's with Goldilocks and then Goldilocks turns on him and stuff like that. They did that kind of stuff here, but he's talking about how he teams up with Jeff, isn't he? It's just, and then Dusty Rhodes comes out and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like,
I think he got a title shot, didn't he, as well, Eric Watt? Yeah.
I think would that been where Goldie turns on him?
It might have been, yeah.
Likely.
Yeah.
But there was a point in time, where people were cheering for him, which I know seems mad for anyone who's ever watched because he never had it, Eric, at all. And he says to Dusty Rhodes, "You're as synonymous with the TNA as the NWA like my dad is." And it's like, your dad set up his own place, mate. He had Mid-South, and it'd have been aligned with the NWA, but you never thought of him as like Mr. NWA, Bill Watts. But
so we shown highlights of the Cash and Trinity in a match. Trinity was one of my favorites in TNA. She didn't get the run she deserved in the in WWE, the ECW version.
No, never did. She became a stunt woman, very successful stunt woman in the end. Yeah, she got herself like a good career out of that, and like she was sort of the smart ploy of just getting out of wrestling. Really, that appeared to be like the kind of wise move. But for a long time here, it was her and Kid Cash. They were the ones who are like she has a match, doesn't she, with Kid Cash? Is it like the week before?
Yeah, they show that. Yeah, where I think Trinity actually wins the match.
Yep. And then, but he's saying how he owns her as well, and he's like, and Goldilocks is like sort of giving him shit. And is
I did put this down. It's like, oh, she's actually pretty good in not taking shit from the like the shit house Kid Cash, which I didn't mind that, even though we did say she does railroad quite a few wrestlers on this show.
Yeah, didn't mind it as much, and it's partly because Kid Cash, even though, and again, this is where you got to put your hat. 2003, it was different stuff you could say and get away with.
Yeah,
certainly
definitely.
within like wrestling TV. Kid Cash was always like a good heel. He was a good shitbag heel. Like I remember seeing him, like he worked in Banbury once. Like that's also a shithole area. Ask Mark Buckledy. He would agree more than me, and he's from that neck of the woods, like North Oxfordshire, before you get to like Leamington Spa and Coventry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kid Cash was he was one of the kind of like early successes here because he was just like he was just an arsehole. And you needed that in the X Division. And in theory, him versus Red, who always had that kind of crowd connection, was the ultimate underdog. You'd have thought this would be a nailed on fucking banker as like an easy match of the night. But oh
yeah, I've got like my final like thing was like 2 stars. There was a lot.
yep.
They did the mirror image spots to start off with, and you know, crowd always enjoy that even to this day, 2025. Yeah, he didn't look the greatest. I felt here, Amazing Red.
No.
I think he's even known nowadays. Like once you see him on a card, oh, it's Amazing Red. He did good stuff in TNA, and then when it comes out, it's just like, yeah, wasn't as good as you thought it'd be.
Yeah, that's it. It's a match like this. You would have thought, from a booking perspective, and you think it's going to be our most watched show. And by all accounts, if you look at the business side of it, I think they said they did $80,000 total, like for this. The problem is they were hemorrhaging fucking money left, right, and centre. So it was like a bit of a drop in the ocean, even at that stage. But you put these two together underneath as being your proper, like your workers match. So then, you know, then your world title match afterwards. The problem is it's very messy at the beginning. Like I say, when they're doing the mirror image spots on here, it never quite works. And the like really at any stage, I was like never really engaged. Red isn't on at all, and I always forget that about him because it's like you're predisposed to like him because he was just like this ultimate underdog figure. But this match, it never quite connects, and the ending is so bad.
Oh, the referee takes the piss here, doesn't he? When he gets knocked out, and you have the mystery luchador who interferes. Red, like, you know, goes for the pin, but like referee's just like asleep, and then suddenly, oh, all right, one.
He's like staring into the corner, like it's the ending of the Blair Witch Project for like a good 20 to 30 seconds. And then turns around and notices he's still pinning him from the what is it? The inverted DDT that apparently has killed Kid Cash, and then counts to 3.
Yeah,
and the crowd are completely confused. The commentators are confused, and then to make it even more confusing, because then your assumption is that the luchador would be Trinity, it'd be revealed to be.
But
Trinity.
They never show it, did they?
They never show it, but also she does the same inverted DDT on Red after the match as well. So like it makes no sense. It's just like it's another finish on this where you're like, what? Like, why the fuck have you done that? It just doesn't make any sense, like at all on this, and it's really underwhelming. Like, I mean, I'd probably argue that in many ways it's the worst match of the night, and it should have been the best.
Yeah, I would say Kid Cash always used to be all right on like the ECW, weren't it? Like he was like latter end.
Yeah.
Even after TNA get used by, I think 1PW used him quite a few times, and he probably held him up for money as well. And stories about that, but yeah,
he's just like, it's so disappointing, this match. I mean, and trust me, I've got thoughts about the main event, but this match in particular just should have been the one that was complete, like a home banker, and it's so disappointing as a match, and just never into it at all. And it's like it's only 9 minutes long. It's not a long match, but fucking hell, it's just like a lot of it you put, like say, on at the referee there as well. And this is Red winning the X Division title for the first time. It should have been like one of the big feel good moments, and they fuck it completely.
Wet fart in church.
Oh yes.
So before we get into our main event, the wrestlers give their predictions for the main. Me only notice Mike Sanders looks washed.
Oh, I tell you what, he's on the opposite of steroids. He's just losing, hemorrhaging fucking mass and what. And he was a good talker. And he's complaining. He goes, like, "Is that a red light?" I don't know. So I've had a lack of TV time. And my immediate thought was, "You're not on TV, mate. They just like do pay-per-views." So like, I don't know. It might just be me. It might be semantics.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. And what was it that James Mitchell says? He goes, "I'd rather go bobbing for apples than a colostomy bag," which I just think would make you seem like you're a bit of a weirdo in that regard. So I wouldn't be surprised if that is something you would be into.
Yeah, he was into all that devil worshipping, weren't he? And he got a good career out of TNA, like the Abyss
Yeah.
stuff, and I think he wasn't he part of the when Raven got scalped
Mm-hmm. Yep.
with Shane Douglas and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of all of that. He was always a really good like if you give him like a bit with Abyss is like probably the highlight of his career, and
Yeah.
even in the ECW, like he kind of had moments because he could talk.
Or Mikey Whitbread, weren't it? And Tajiri. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. The problem is now I think of him as his last run in the NWA, where his last moment on them is him doing fake blow off a table, which didn't need to be on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Just like this, I don't know who you're aiming at with that one on there as well. But yeah, they do all the they're asking them, and it's just like a lot of them don't seem to actually give any answers to who they think is going to win Raven versus Jarrett. They just cut a little mini promo, and then it goes to the next fella.
Yeah. You also get Lollipop getting attacked once again in the cage by Tracy Brooks. Lollipop says, "Who is that $2 hoe?" Which you can tell Russo's fingerprints are on this one. They eventually end up in the ring. Cat fight, which Tenay's saying that. And like, not in a million years you think Mike Tenay would be doing the Joey Styles bit.
Mate.
But here we are.
Shocking. Yeah, it is. It is. It's really like, oh my God. Like it's bad because Lollipop is bad.
Yeah.
And really, like, I mean, she was the one, and she's only called Lollipop because early on when she did her dancing, she'd have a lollipop in her mouth. That would be it. That was her character development.
Well, if it worked for Kojak, it worked for Lollipop, didn't it?
It did, yeah. But they didn't call him Inspector Lollipop, would they? I mean, I don't think Telly Savalas would have fucking sold for that, would he? That was the case. I mean, speaking of which, I mean, it looks like Telly Savalas and Yul Brynner fighting in a sack when it comes to Tracy Brooks there as well. And Lollipop is, I mean, I think that the high point of her time in TNA is the bit where she has her top ripped off, or she takes off herself. I forget. I remember the image. Obviously, I see it to the inside of my retinas. But like outside of that, like she did nothing else. She just offered absolutely nothing else. She was just it was just of that era. It was just like, well, we have to have a cat fight.
Yeah.
And you think with all the new people who are watching this as well, they're just thinking, yeah, what we're going to do. This is the kind of stuff that they were going to throw out there because
this worked in the 90s for all you Laps fans.
Yeah. Still very much the prevailing logic of today's wrestling, sadly. It worked in the 90s, and you want to go, that was 30 years ago, lads. Like, I hate to be the one to tell you, but there you go. Yeah. Pointless segment. I have no recollection of where it goes because my next, like you said earlier on, my next memories of Tracy Brooks is sat on the back of a truck, on the hay in the back of a truck with dusty roads.
Well, moving away from there, we have a video package for the Raven Jarrett feud. I will say, by TNA standards, really good video package. This, building it all up. It does show an angle where Jeff Jarrett gets hung in a straitjacket, placed with some barbed wire on him, and getting caned. Jarrett as well.
Getting caned with a cane. He's not like got like a massive fucking spliff in his mouth, which would arguably be a funnier angle if they'd done it that way as well. And would have probably be fitting of what ECW would have done to him at the time.
In it getting beat up while he's got a bifter in his mouth.
If it would have been impressive if he'd kept the bifter in his mouth while taking the cane shots. I'd gone, fucking hell, Jeff, you can handle it. And he's probably said, I've had 60 somas as well. Do your fucking worst, lads.
This era of Jeff Jarrett is pure Noel Edmonds into with the beads around his neck.
Yeah. He's got the proper perm as well at this stage. It's his hair. It's either you go short or you go really long. Jeff.
It's deal or no deal, Noel.
It is. Yeah. I mean, is it? Is it Noel in New Zealand? Noel?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, he's a bit of a wrong un on there.
Oh, he is. I mean, it's sorry, that's a red flag alert. I've left the UK and gone to New Zealand. It's like that's what Barrymore did as well, which made it Barrymore would be still there. So they just like knocking around together. Didn't Edmonds like run a cafe there?
Yeah, so it's like a pub.
Okay.
He had all different drinks like the old Nosy Bastard or something. A pint of old Nosy Bastard, like a 5% IPA, and yeah.
Didn't he make millions from Deal or No Deal?
Surely
he did
loads of money. Yeah, he went in to do like Formula One. I'm sure he was involved with like car racing as well, and obviously, yeah, he had his own. I think he had his own TV production company because he will have done stuff like. You remember that Sky One? He was one of those BBC One personalities whose career went to die on Sky, Harry Enfield and Baddiel and what's he called, David Baddiel.
Yep. Oh, they all die on Sky. The only thing you were watching on Sky One was two things. It was fucking Simpsons and it was Dream Team.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, that was pretty much it. And these days, it exists in some form, but the only time I ever watch it is when Soccer Saturday's on it. And I've gone on the EPG. I'll just go there. I could type in 401, but I can't be asked. I'll go there instead.
Yeah, but we got to credit Noel.
Yep.
He made Christmas, didn't he? With Noel's Christmas presents, even though it was the same old, like, oh, you've not seen this person from Australia for 35 years. And here they are right now.
Well, that's it. I think he got the idea that Silla's not around. There's a gap in the old surprise market as well. My mum fucking loved surprise.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Every time she was just like sobbing away. And I'd be
there. My dad were the same with the Noel's Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell, the amount of Kleenex that were in the bin at the end of it. It's like, oh.
Which would be ironic because I'd add to that with a 10-minute preview later on, but like it's a very different one.
Oh, fucking hell. It gets announced the week after that there's going to be not Anarchy in the Arena, but Anarchy in the Asylum, a gauntlet with pinfalls count anywhere for the number one contendership to the TNA title. Well, I wonder who wins that one. Can you tell us, Mr. JP?
Yeah. I mean, and you're thinking to yourself, well, who will this person be? It'll probably be someone that challenged Raven. You think, like, start off with a hot program. Glenn Gilberti wins that one. And I can remember going onto the internet the next day and seeing him on the shoulders of his fellow Sports Entertainment Extreme members. And I just thought, this promotion is not going to go the way that I think it should be going. Already, there were so many red flags at this stage, and this was the major one. And they did it as like this 1 month storyline of him versus, well, sorry, spoiling the main event already, him and Jeff. And you're like, and it never went anywhere, and no one cared. And he was gone pretty soon afterwards. It just feels like he never meant anything. And it's all fucking Russo trying to push his shit mate, who is the worst member of that. There's anyone else in Sports Entertainment Extreme I'd have probably handled more, like would have been better with than fucking Glenn Gilberti. Absolutely shocking.
But he was same in WCW, weren't it? Like he'd always try and get. It was always him. Well, it's his mates, isn't it? Him, the Harris boys, and Jarrett.
Jeff. Yeah, that was it. They were always the lads. And it's much like the same way, like you see Sonny Siaki and he goes, you'll do. You just probably called him Dwayne backstage just for sake of continuity.
If you think it's like Russo's version of the Four Horsemen in it.
Oh, it is, isn't it? I mean, fucking the shittest Four Horsemen. There's no version. I mean, mate,
Even
Paul
Roma looks like Ric Flair compared to.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Anger bastard.
Looks like prime Ric Flair. Like Ric Flair in fucking '87 by comparison to that lot. Jesus Christ! Another thing they say about the Anakin is they can wear any clothes they want. And I was like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just wear their normal gear? No, like that's what they come to work in. It's like is that going to add an advantage to it? Like, what are they going to do? Come in those like fucking massive sumo suits so no one can get them pinned. I mean, like, what's the point of this?
Well, Russo wanted that, didn't he? That like the hunchback. Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous. He looked at Jim Herd and went, "Hold my fucking beer there." But yeah, shocking for that. I know you're probably going to mention it. We're going to talk about the Jeff Jarrett video package, and in particular, that was after this. They do like the split screen of them warming up, and then they do a Jeff Jarrett video package, which is fine, except the music is like a trance version of it's either "Ode to Joy" or another very famous.
It's where all the wrestling's going round like that.
And I was like, what's going? But it's like happy hardcore. Is how it sounds. I'm like, oh my god, like, what is this fucking bollocks? Yeah, do you know, da 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 da. It's just like what? Who like Jesus Christ, lads! Like, you just break copyright and deal with the consequences later, than like fucking do this. I mean, I laughed. I'll put it that way.
And Jarrett's voiceover sounds like, Kane when he had that distorted voice back in late 90s. I am Jeff Jarrett, Rudy Paul and the ass.
Suck it. Yeah, it's fucking hell. Like, my God. Like that music choice in and of itself just like blew my fucking mind. Like the main event did.
Yeah, let's get into the main attraction of this show, which was Jeff Jarrett versus Raven for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Raven coming out with Julio De Niro and Hardcore Country, the soon-to-be Mickie James, and as we're recording, TNA Hall of Famer Mickie James, formerly called as Alexis Lurie.
Yeah, I can remember like her being there back. I mean, the thing to remember is there was the original trio was her, Julio De Niro, and CM Punk.
Yeah.
And he came in early, which seems just would blow people's mind. Just forget it. He was in TNA for a period of time. And then he gets into a fight with Teddy Hart at like a restaurant that's next door to it, like a diner. Yeah. And he gets into a fight with Teddy Hart, which I'm assuming Teddy Hart won simply because he's high on drugs
and probably had a cat in his hand at the same time.
Exactly, yeah, exactly, and a bag full of fucking secrets, dark fucking secrets as well. But yeah, it was Punk at the time, and then obviously they've got the was it with Ray? It wouldn't have been with Raven because they would have done the Raven Punk feud in
Ring of Honor, weren't it?
Yeah, in 03 they would have done it as well. They'd already done it at that point. I'm not quite sure.
I'm not too sure. No,
I never followed it at that point. But yeah, they're accompanying Raven to the ring.
Yeah,
they're the Gathering.
They are. I will say Raven's entrance theme, a banger of a tune, a knockoff version as well, and obviously My World with all the countries and all the cities of Grimsby, Leafort, Rotherham.
Oh, it's the one entrance video they made an effort for, and obviously they did because it's Jeff in there. But I will always love that thing. If ever I hear that nowadays, I smile. Like, he makes an appearance and I hear My World. Like, I can't help but laugh. Like, I always think it kind of works and it stuck with it. And this is very much his world. Like, he's created his own world for him to exist in there as well. And you got to remember that the dynamics of it, he is the face, Raven is the heel, but that's not really how a lot of the people are feeling.
It's not, no. I think typical, like, it's a Jeff Jarrett match, this, isn't there? There's a load of bollocks and bells and
Oh,
whistles galore in this one.
they're bleeding in the first like 3 minutes.
Oh, it's
Something
like a
like that.
John Moxley match, isn't it?
Yeah. You just might as well just go out there, pull out the razor blade, just go, sorry, just mind myself for a second, cut there and go, right, let's start, ring the bell, because that's effect. How does Raven like cut himself? Is it like, or is apparently it's because
Yes.
Julio De Niro tries to hit him with a chair, doesn't he?
Yeah, so the ref gets distracted by Alexis Lurie, I think it is, and Julio goes to chuck it at Jarrett, but just whacking Raven's head. But it's at this point, I think Jarrett does a dive over the top rope. Like, fucking, where's this athleticism come from Jarrett? And then Raven follows him over the top, and he does a dive. It's like wild.
Oh, it is. It's not long after. I think he chuck him into the steps, and that's where he bleeds. But yeah,
It is, yeah.
the Jeff dive. I notice if they're not there, his head is falling down at a quicker pace than the rest of his body, and I think they managed to save it between Alexis and Julio De Niro. I never
Yeah.
minded Julio De Niro. I have to say he was always all right. But yeah, that's the thing with this. The bollocks in this match starts from the get go. Like, it just starts, and it doesn't end. And it made me think about Raven matches generally. They were always like this. He never, like, the only times he ever wrestled in any kind of serious matches that I could remember was when he was doing tag team stuff in WCW. Is it with Perry Saturn against like Benoit and Malenko?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they wouldn't do the shit he'd want to do. And even then, that would involve doing a drop toe hold into a chair. Like, that was
Which he did in this match as ever. But the matches you basically remember for Raven, it's all the ones with the bells and whistles in. Even the Goldberg one from WCW, which is fondly remembered. That's just loads of moving bodies, isn't it?
It is, and this one is very much like hold my beer to the amount of moving bodies who get involved in this as well. But it's, I have to say, for this first sort of, what, it must be like 10, 12 minutes or so, it moves at a pace.
Yeah.
Like, it moves at a pace for it. The crowd are with it because there's an ending they think they're getting in this. And so they're thinking, well, this is just the bollocks we've got to go through in order to get to that place. And that's fine. And there's always incident and action, and there's blood, and there's things like that. There's all those bells and whistles that are an easy distraction. We've only got two people interfering at, for most of this match. It's just when it gets to the other stuff, it goes berserk.
Yeah, there's some spots in here where Jarrett actually hits the RKO before.
Yep.
Really executed that well. He does the stroke, but Raven kicks out. Jarrett, what's it? There's a bit where Jarrett elbow drops Raven through Chekhov's table, which he'd set up initially before, a few minutes before it happened. And, here you go, elbow drop through there. He ends up putting him in the ring, DDT, 1-2, kick out. Then De Niro and James and Alexis Lurie get involved. Referee audibly shouts, "Get the fuck out of here."
Old Rudy Charles.
Yeah, and then we have double low blow with Raven and Jarrett. All the tag teams then running from the first match, and then what we called Extremely Past It. Oh no, Team Extreme Revolution all come out. Twat Jeff with everything here. They handcuff him, the super kick concerto.
Yep.
They probably got a gun out and shot him, and he still survived.
Oh, what is it? I know that there's like Sandman twats him with the cane.
Yeah.
Does New Jack hit him with a trash can?
He does, yeah.
And then they do the double like super kick concerto, which it's Justin GRAPPL and Perry Saturn doing it because they're the two blokes who are most able. You're not asking New Jack and Sandman to do that, are you?
No.
But Justin GRAPPL can't reach it.
No.
at all, like at all, and that's the side that the camera's on. And you just think, well, Perry sat in the air, but like he's already past it at this stage. He's not doing that.
It was less super kick, more the sweet shin music, what Mick Foley used to do.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. And then once, extreme lock go, the Raven's there with a chair, ready to lift up, ready to smash Jarrett. Light goes off, light goes on. Oh, I wonder who this could be. It's only Sabu, and crowd are absolutely molten for this, where he ends up doing a triple jump dive to everyone on the outside.
It is kind of great, the Sabu moment, and obviously I'm going to look back at it with a bit more nostalgia, given the fact that the original Detroit Terrys now passed away, but it is like kind of classic Sabu stuff, like him doing the jump into the corner, and then like say the dive onto the top rope onto everyone on the outside, and it's you know it feels like a big deal. Sabu's coming into the mix, and you know, in an alternative universe, he'd have been set up as the next challenger.
Yeah.
For who should have been the rightful winner. And you'd have thought, well, that I'd have been all right with that in 2003. I'd have been fine. He's still relatively young at this point as well. You've got to think with Sabu. It's not like, I mean, he was always kind of past it. Don't get me wrong, because he was fucking his body up. But yeah, it's perfectly like I didn't mind that bit when he came out.
Yeah. What I found funny as well, when he scarpered through the audience, he went over the barricade, and I think he fucking bowled someone over, didn't he?
Yeah. I thought, who's gone out that way? Because he just jumps, he like springboards onto the top of the rail and just jumps into the crowd. Yeah. And then the next thing you see is just like, there's this fan on the floor who's thought, what the fuck has happened here? Why is Sabu jumping at me for no real reason at all? Like behaving like he's fucking like Bruiser Brody in Japan, but except he's caught up with the Japanese fans this time. And he's just taking him out because it's like he's helping him up, isn't he, at one point? And he just goes out through the crowd.
To the top,
yeah, he's not taking part in any lawsuit at that point, is he? He's just like, no, I am gone.
So then you get the spot with Raven hitting himself with the chair when it bounces off the ropes. Bit of a daft spot, this. Jarrett goes for the pin, only 2. But this is at the point where Jarrett is like still handcuffed, and referees try to fucking do it, and like fucking Raven decides, you know what? We'll give Jeff Jarrett a chance here. We'll take off the handcuffs. What a fucking idiot!
I couldn't believe this moment. Like I'd forgotten, I'd blanked this bit from my mind because it's just a guy. They keep on. Was it they say that Bill Behrens has given him like the universal key for like handcuffs, which I would suggest to anyone who's ever planned on being arrested, just have one of those in your pocket. Rather like Vicky has got a universal key that you can use on disabled loos. So if ever you're at a venue like we're at the Copper Box, it's just like, here we go, my own private loot. There we are. Let's start going in there.
Funnily enough, talking about keys, back in home economics class, back in year 9 of Hollingworth High School, where I went to, what were it now? A couple of lads borrowed. The thing was, my locker key could open up any locker for some reason. So what they did, they got someone's home economics work, what had been left out in home ec class, or because it was our form room, got it and fucking put it in my locker with my knowledge that and it had been stuck there. They found it like 3 weeks after, fucking mouldy to fuck, and I took the bullet for it all, like proper bullet for it.
You couldn't grasp though, could you? That was it.
No.
Wasn't that point in history really you could get away with it? But fucking hell, I'd have used that for all sorts. I'd have been like, I'd have tried. You should have got in with the estates guys, taken their universal key, and just used the school as like your own personal fucking playground after hours. In a pre-CCTV footage era, you'd have been playing out like fucking bandits, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you were mentioning about universal toilet keys as well. Yeah. Yeah. No, good idea. Especially at Crystal Palace when there's no fucking
Oh,
loo there.
well, it came into its own at the copper box because we had
Yeah.
like a baby with us, so we like
Yeah.
wanted to change. So it's just like, just use that. Like it, and it just came with a bag she ordered off Vinted. Somebody had left it in there, and it was like, oh, that's all right, that works. And
Right.
it still keep it to this day, just carry it around just in case. You never know.
You never know. You never know. But I would say with Crystal Palace,
Oh,
I was winking at the shower cubicle to have a piss in the.
yeah. I'd have done a shit in there, mate, just on a point of principle.
Correct. So Raven unhandcuffs Jarrett and DDTs him. 1, 2. Jarrett's shoulder. The fucking Jarrett shoulder. Everybody time.
Oh, mate, it was after all of the moves that he's gone through and all of the interference, and he kicks out of that. Like people complain about Cena, like it was nothing compared to this. This was like the most extreme versions of it as well, and it is, and it's like I think already the heel section, and just to explain for those, there was a section literally they named themselves the heel section, and they
Yeah.
just all they did was cheer heels. It was a small bit on if you were going down the rampway in the asylum, not that I ever fucking did, but on the right hand side, like on beside like the ring and leading up to like front row. That whole bit was just called the heel section. They always had their signs up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could tell they're already getting pissed off about this.
Yeah. So obviously Jarrett kicks out, and about 30 seconds after, it's the old stroke. 1, 2, 3. Rubbish hits the ring. As put a fucking laugh, Superman wins.
It is honestly to God, it's the moment that because the problem is the stroke is a shit finisher at the
Yeah.
best of times, and it never looks like it'd ever take anyone out because the way that they always take it is always like protecting it with a hand, aren't they? So it never
Yeah.
looks like their head hits the floor. It's like their chest, and he pins him clean as a whistle. And in the instant that happens, the heel section just start chucking rubbish into the ring, and Borash is doing the ring announcing. And the minute he finishes doing the call, like the pro that he is, you just see him run past the character to try and calm them down and tell them
Yeah.
to stop doing it. And then obviously Dusty Rhodes gets in the ring, who's not
Yeah.
really played a part in any of this tonight, looking a bit like The Rock when he goes in there to help like Roman Reigns after he wins the Royal Rumble that time. And he's just like, oh, I don't know. I don't think this has worked, mate. Like, just fucking like and they're celebrating in there as well. But yeah, this is such it's the wrong ending is the absolute understatement because it wasn't that house and the interest wasn't being drawn by Jeff. Jeff had
No.
been there every week. It was more that it was like we thought I think people understood the idea of him being a transitional champion. They got the idea that would be the case. He's the owner. He's always going to be around.
Yeah.
His logic always was that he couldn't put the belt on Raven because Raven wasn't under contract. To which I'd simply ask the question, who was under contract?
Yeah. Because they were moving freely in and out all the time, weren't they?
They'd have a certain amount of dates that they
We
decided.
were like Sting, Jeff Hardy, when they come in, they were only there for a fanny full of dates.
Exactly. It was never that big a deal. It never meant anything at all. You were like, yeah, what? Like, you had them in there. And it was also, even if it was a short run thing, it wouldn't have made that would have been absolutely fine. Like you say, you could have then transitioned from Raven to AJ if you wanted to do that. That would have been like perhaps probably a more sensible option and do AJ versus Jeff. But there were ways and means around it.
Mm.
But the way you had to get to that, but instead the route they went down was to go to Jeff and Disco Inferno, Glenn Gilberti from this. Like it was fucking agreed. Like I say, not as bad as the Monty Brown one because you fucked a guy who never stood a chance.
Mm.
But and this isn't like Raven as mega draw, but it's just that
they wanted change, didn't they?
They wanted change, and he represented a form of change. And he'd come in with that hot angle where he came out of the crowd after he'd been released, did the DDT, took the title belt, walked up the ramp, and he had that image and the sign that said, was it Vince fears Raven?
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff, like it kind of like, and because the month build was just like, up, we've really like sort of put all the eggs in the basket of this, and it worked in that sort of like in what was like kind of booking 101. It wasn't like a masterclass of stuff, but he represented change, and Jeff didn't. And there was no justifiable reason to keep the belt on Jeff. It really was not as a face, because that wasn't working, because he owned the fucking company and everyone knew it.
Yeah. Nonetheless, though, I think as a match, I think I'd easily go 4 stars and above as a spectacle of a match. I had a fucking laugh watching this.
That's the problem with this. Is that it is a fucking giggle. I mean, I'm much harsher on the rating, and it goes. I probably at a push go 3.5, but 3.25. But it just because it's 17 minutes, by far the longest match on the card, almost twice as long as anything else on this show. But it's a fuckload of fun, and you're laughing because it's so silly and so OTT. And the Jeff formula hadn't been completely rinsed to death that we would see by the time you're getting into like 07, 08, and you're like, fuck me, I've seen this every month now, him doing this. But it's the damage it did. And I think that's why it comes under the shite category. There's so much of the booking on this that just falls completely into shite. It's sort of almost like less the matches themselves. It's not like when you do like WWA. And you're watching just shit matches and shit booking. Like, but this is booking that is there. That all it does is hamstring you. It just completely like leaves you with no option, because at that point it almost feels like it took a while to build Raven back up to like where he is champion in 05, I think.
Yeah.
And then they do the thing where he loses the title at the Border City Brawl because America's Most Wanted turn heel. And this is when Scott D'Amore's promoting it as well. And it's just like, oh, okay. And then they put the belt and they have them along with Gail Kim as like their sort of like
Team Canada and all that, won't it? And
it's like they're like the big heel faction and stuff like this. But that's the problem is that they had Raven there. He would have, even if for like 2 months, would have been an interesting direction. And it was like the one time that pay-per-view concept of 4 pay-per-views a month, like a weekly pay-per-view series, was something you went, well, this has kind of worked because it has actually drawn money in a tangible way. But then they've killed but they've somehow got the idea and said, well, it's kind of Jeff who must be doing this. And it's like, well, if it's Jeff who's doing this, why hasn't he done it before this? Why hasn't every month been doing as well as this? But never was. And I think even at this stage, they're taping 2 pay-per-views at a time, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like,
so as we always ask on this show, and I think you've sort of explained it quite well, but shite or not shite? That is the question.
Shite, but shite in more emphasis on the booking than the wrestling. There's good wrestling to be had and fun. I say, really good fun wrestling to be had. Like, you could easily watch this show, have a drink, have a laugh. But the booking for large sways of this and some of the backstage segments, you just shake your head and go, these are the reasons why TNA just never caught on. Because whenever they did have a chance to, whenever they get a bit of, we've even seen it this year with the WWE stuff, and you think Mike Santana's going to win in New York in front of their biggest crowd ever. No, we can't have that. And you're like, oh, but we might do it then at Bound for Glory. It's like, that makes no difference. Like, the moment's gone. They never have been able to capitalize on big moments when they've had attention and people actually paying money for the product. They've never. I'd even argue
Joe Hendry. That's another one.
Yeah. Joe Hendry's another one. Monty Brown is another one. I'd argue to a point, they sort of rinsed Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle so quickly when they put the belt on AJ. it always felt like it was kind of the wrong time. They never kind of capitalized on that as well. Even when they've had bigger stars in there, their timing has always been off. And so when you say shite or not shite, I mean, but then if there's a promotion that sort of sums up shite in many ways, it's TNA, but it's more baffling shite because it's a shite that never ends, isn't it? It's just like it.
But it's the reason we love them.
Yeah. And it's the reason that they always find a way of sort of turning you back in. There's always a point where you go, oh, this is. So there was that period of time when they had Josh Alexander as the champion, along with like Mike Bailey and Jordan Grace. And you went, there's 3 good matches on pretty much all of their shows. And the rest of it is kind of inoffensive and it's fine. And you give them a chance. And then they get to a really big show and there's a bit of momentum. And then they fuck it because TNA is going to TNA.
I think for myself, as I watch this show, it's an absolute joy to watch again. I know it's nostalgia and that, but I never felt bored during the 2-hour presentation of it. But then again, I agree with JP. The booking in the end match, just like, it shits all over it, doesn't it?
That's a waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just get annoyed when Jeff Jarrett raises his shoulder at 2 7/8 of a count every fucking time that gobshite's fucking kicking out of everything.
It's just, yeah, that's it. And he was Superman Jeff as well.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not like, it's not by hook or by crook. It's just like, he's taking loads of finishers and he's still kicking out and he still end up with the title. And then you get to things like King of the Mountain and stuff like. And I always think him winning a title in TNA is synonymous then with rubbish being chucked in at some point.
Yeah,
like it is, and it's just shit booking. But then he hired Vince. He's responsible for it. He hires the fucking bloke. You didn't have. You're not legally obliged. That's the problem with TNA. They're not legally obliged to hire him, but for some reason they think they've entered in some lifetime contract that has to happen. So. Mental behavior.
So I think, we've come to the conclusion. Shite, I think.
Yep.
But we had a great time watching it.
Mate, it's been brilliant. Yeah. Loved it. Really good fun. Really good trip down memory lane. But just don't be fooled by TNA, folks. They are always going to do what TNA does.
So that's the end of the show. JP, got any plugs? Where can we follow you?
Well, I would always say go to GRAPPL. So youtube.com/@GRAPPL. GRAPPL without an E at the end, but I'm sure most listeners, I like to think, would have an idea, would be aware of us in some way, shape, or form. But if you haven't, go to the Patreon, patreon.com/GRAPPL. Loads of great stuff on there at the minute. We've been doing Dealer's Choice Month, so this is where we all get to pick something and we have to make everyone else has to watch it. So we done, Matty did a flashback, Survivor Series 2002. Gareth did a show with Ric Flair in the 80s. I did a film club review of The Wrestler, which we just did on Saturday. And then the next show we're doing, which is going to be recorded on Monday, and it's going to be live for those of you on the right tier for it as well. We're going to be doing Benno's pick, which is CM Punk in AEW. Which I'm really looking forward to seeing that, because that could go in 1,000,001 different fucking directions. So that's where you can find me. That's where you can find the stuff we do over there as well. And if you like it at the minute, we're doing a big push on the YouTube. Like, subscribe, or hype, whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, you press it. Apparently you can only do it 3 times. I don't know the reasons why. You'd have to speak to the YouTube overlords about that. But yeah. I know Benno and Matty have done some cracking reaction videos, like 10-minute long ones, and they're doing much longer form reviews. Like I know at time of recording this, Benno and Gareth have been reviewing All Out, and then Benno and Matty are going to be reviewing WrestlePalooza in detail, a show which I haven't watched a single second of yet, and I don't know if I can be asked to. be honest, I don't have to. So should I watch it? That does sound like shite.
No.
Good. I'll take your word for it, mate.
As ever, you can follow me on Twitter, now X, at Oggy Part 3. Follow this podcast at GCP Podcast 1. Go back and listen to the back catalogue of Shite and Muck, and also the other stuff I do on there, which is Reslow, which is coming to an end soon. We just done Big Daddy's last ever televised UK match.
Wow. Was it on Reslow he did that?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Please tell me he was putting over is it Orig Williams?
No, he wasn't putting over Orig. He didn't even come out to We Shall Not Be Moved. He just like generic tune for Daddy. But he did his typical Daddy thing of let the young lad take the ass kicking and I'll come in and win the match.
And not kill anyone this time.
And not kill anyone.
Which did happen.
He did.
Yeah, I love the Reslow stuff. Just that theme tune that you play at the start.
So yeah, go listen to that, and also the UWA stuff we've done, and Transatlantic, and also go and listen to the other podcast I'm on with Kieran and Eddie Sideburns. Nothing Can Like It. You can go and follow that at FWA Pod. But that's the end of the plugs and the end of this show. Thanks very much for your time, JP. Been a pleasure.
Loved it, mate. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for having me on.
No problem. Thank you very much, listeners, and we'll see you next time for episode 6 of Shite. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.